Maria sat on the cold, cracked floor of the tiny mud house, hugging her thin legs to her chest. Her stomach growled, but she had learned to silence its cries. Hunger had become her closest companion. At 22, she was still in secondary school. Not because she lacked intelligence, but because life had never been kind to her. Her mother had died 5 years earlier after a brief illness. Since then, her stepfather, Mr. Amos, had treated her like an outsider. He never smiled at her, never spoke her name. To him, she was nothing more than a burden, the foolish female child. Her stepsister, Grace, 2 years older, never missed a chance to mock her, constantly reminding her that she was unwanted. That morning, Mr. Amos called Maria into his room. His voice was sharp. "Maria," he barked. "Come here before I change my mind." She hurried in, heart pounding, unsure of what awaited her. He handed her a brown envelope. "This is your school fees," he said. "Take it to the school now. If you lose this money, don't bother coming back. I'll deal with you." Maria nodded quickly, clutching the envelope with both hands. "Listen," he continued. "Don't dream about university. I won't waste my money on a useless girl. After secondary school, you'll start selling tomatoes in the market." "Yes, sir," she whispered. "Get out of my sight," he snapped. As she turned to leave, she bumped into Grace, who stood at the door, grinning mockingly. "Look who's off to school. 22 and still in uniform. Shame on you, old woman." Maria said nothing. She held the envelope tighter and walked away. The sun was already hot as she made her way down the dusty village road. Her worn slippers did little to shield her feet from the stones, but she was used to it. As she neared the wooden bridge by the market, she saw an old man sitting alone by the roadside. He looked frail and exhausted, his clothes tattered, his eyes sunken. "Please, my daughter," the man said weakly. "I haven't eaten since yesterday. Do you have any food?" Maria felt a pang in her chest. "I'm sorry, Papa. I don't have food," she replied, beginning to walk past. But something tugged at her heart. She stopped and turned back. "Papa, what happened to you?" she asked gently. "I used to be a farmer," he said. "But my farm burned down. I lost everything. My crops, my home, my peace. Now I beg. I sleep under the bridge or in abandoned buildings." Tears welled up in Maria's eyes. "If I had a house, I would let you stay with me," she said honestly. "But I live with my stepfather. My mother died, and life has been very hard." "What's your name, my daughter?" the man asked. "Maria," she replied. He smiled faintly. "I'm Ocone. I sit here most days. Some people give me food. Many just pass by." Maria looked down at her bag. Her stepfather's warning echoed in her mind. Still, she opened it and pulled out the envelope. She hesitated, then looked into Papa Ocone's eyes, took his hand, and gently placed the envelope in his palm. "Take it, Papa," she said softly. "It's all I have." The old man opened the envelope and gasped. "No, my child. This is too much," he said. "It's okay," Maria replied. "I want you to have it." Tears rolled down his cheeks. "May God bless you, Maria. May your kindness bring you miracles." Maria gave him a faint smile. "I'll try to bring you some food sometimes, even if it's little." "Thank you, my child," he said, gripping the envelope like treasure. Maria walked on. Each step felt heavier than the last. Her chest ached. She had just given away her entire school fees. She didn't know how she would explain it to her stepfather. At the school gate, she stopped. She couldn't go in. Sitting under a large mango tree, she buried her face in her hands. Tears fell freely. Her future was now uncertain, but her heart felt at peace. She had done the right thing. She returned home slowly, dragging her feet through the dust. Her heart sank with every step. Mr. Amos was waiting. "Where's the receipt?" he asked coldly. I lost the money," she whispered, trembling. He stared at her, then exploded. "You what? You lost it." She nodded silently. "I knew it. You're probably sleeping with some man and gave him my hard-earned money, didn't you? Useless child of a useless woman. Walking around at your age, pretending to go to school." Before she could respond, he picked up a cane and struck her across the back and arms. Maria screamed but didn't resist. "You won't eat for 2 days," he shouted. "Do you think I pluck money from trees?" She fell to the ground, shielding herself as he rained blows on her. Finally, he dropped the cane and glared at her. "Go to the forbidden river and fetch water. I don't care what happens to you there. If you don't come back alive, even better." Maria's eyes widened. "Please, Papa," she cried, tears streaming. "They say strange things happen there. It's dangerous." "Shut up," he barked. "You must go. You need to learn your lesson." That night, Maria didn't eat. Her body ached, and her heart felt shattered. But by morning, she picked up the water container and walked toward the forbidden river. People avoided that place, saying strange things dwelled there. But she had no choice. At the river, the atmosphere was eerie. The trees stood like silent watchers. She whispered a prayer and bent to fetch the water. To her surprise, nothing happened. She returned home safely. Mr. Amos was stunned. "You came back?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. Maria nodded. He shook his head. "I knew it. You're a witch. No girl returns from that place alive." She didn't respond. She dropped the container quietly and returned to her corner. The next day, she ran to the spot where she had met Papa Ocone. He was there, sitting on the same stone. His face lit up when he saw her. "My daughter," he said. "What happened? You look troubled." Maria sat beside him, eyes brimming with tears. "I told my stepfather I lost the money. He didn't believe me. He beat me, called me names, then sent me to the forbidden river. He didn't want me to come back." The old man clenched his fists. "What kind of man does that to a child? If I had a home, I would tell you to pack your things and come live with me." Maria wiped her tears. "It's okay, Papa. I just wanted to see you." He looked at her with deep affection. "Thank you again for yesterday. That money saved my life." Maria gave a faint smile. "You'll marry a very wealthy man one day," he said with confidence. "Amen, Papa," she replied softly. "But I want to finish school first." "You are wise and you are beautiful," he said warmly. "Your stepfather is just bitter because you're more beautiful than his daughter." Maria laughed lightly, cheeks turning pink. "That's my girl," he grinned. "See, I made you smile." "Yes, Papa. Thank you." "This world is full of wicked hearts," he said. "But God sees the good ones. Your life will change, Maria. I don't know when, but I believe it will." "Thank you, Papa," she said, smiling again. The next morning, as Mr. Amos walked down a narrow farm path, whistling and heading toward the bush for firewood, A tall man dressed in simple clothes approached from the opposite direction. "Good morning," the man greeted calmly. Mr. Amos frowned. "What do you want?" "I came to warn you," the man said. "Leave Maria alone. She's done nothing to deserve your cruelty. You're punishing her for no reason. You're just a bitter man." Mr. Amos's eyes widened in fury. "What did you say?" he shouted. "You dare speak to me like that? She's my daughter. I know she's been sleeping around, and you're one of them, aren't you?" The man didn't move. "I warned you," he said again, his voice still calm. "Stay the hell away from her. I'm her guardian angel. If you don't stop treating her like trash." Mr. Amos cut him off. "What will happen? Tell me, what will you do?" The man's eyes darkened. "If you don't stop, you'll be gone forever." With that, he turned and walked away, disappearing down the path. Mr. Amos stood there, shaking with fury. "Useless people," he spat. "He dares threaten me because of that foolish girl." He turned back and stormed home, his face burning with rage. As soon as he arrived, he flung the door open. Maria was sweeping the small compound. "You," he roared. "You think I don't know your plans?" Maria turned, startled. "Papa, I—" Before she could finish, the cane landed harshly on her back. "Shameless girl," he shouted. "You sent men to threaten me? You think you can control me now?" Maria cried out in pain. "I didn't send anyone, Papa. I swear, I don't know what you're talking about." But he didn't listen. He beat her until she collapsed to the ground. When he finally stopped, she could barely move. Her body ached all over, her heart was heavy, and her eyes were full of tears. That evening, while everyone rested, Maria quietly slipped out of the house. She walked slowly down the narrow bush path that led to her mother's grave. Kneeling beside it, she placed her hand gently on the cold cement and whispered through tears, "Mama, why did you leave me? I'm suffering. They hate me. They beat me. They treat me like I'm nothing." Her voice trembled. "I miss you so much. I wish you were here. I don't know how long I can keep going." A soft wind moved through the trees, birds flew overhead, but the world around her remained quiet. Only her heart screamed in pain. She stayed there a long time, crying and talking to the grave, her only place of peace. When she finally walked back home, her legs felt like they could give way at any moment. Her eyes were red and swollen. She whispered a prayer. "God, please help me. Please." As she approached the house, she saw Grace sitting outside, filing her nails and chewing gum. Grace looked up with disgust. "You daughter of a ghost," she sneered. "Out again to sleep with men, haven't you?" Maria wiped her face and tried to walk past silently. "I'm talking to you," Grace shouted. "I didn't meet any man," Maria said softly. "I went to visit my mother's grave." "Liar," Grace snapped. "Anyway, get into the kitchen. My boyfriend is coming soon, and I want pounded yam with vegetable soup. Hot and fresh." Maria sighed. "I'm tired, Grace. I haven't even eaten today." Grace stood up and pointed a long fingernail at her. "You don't have a choice. Or I'll tell Papa to throw you out tonight. Then you can go and live with your dead mother." Maria's heart dropped. She wanted to scream, but no words came out. Silently, she turned and walked into the kitchen. Her body still ached from the morning's beating. Her legs were weak, and her arms sore. She leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. After a moment, she wiped her face and dragged herself to the washing area. She poured water into a bowl and washed her hands, then stared at the yam tubers on the floor. "Where will I find the strength?" she whispered. But she knew she had no choice. With trembling hands, she picked up the knife and began peeling the yam, one slice at a time. Her fingers felt heavy, but she pushed through. She washed the slices, placed them in a pot, and lit the firewood. Smoke stung her eyes as she coughed and blinked. Once the yam was soft, she fetched the mortar and pestle. Her arms shook as she pounded, each thud echoing her pain. Sweat poured down her forehead. Her tears mixed with it. When she was done, she could barely stand. Exhausted, broken, but still moving. Just as she finished preparing the soup and pounded yam, Grace strutted into the kitchen, shaking her waist like a local queen. "My boyfriend is almost here," she said, flipping her hair. "I'm going to the next street to buy drinks. Make sure you serve him before I return. He's very hungry, no delays." Maria just nodded, quietly arranging the food on a tray. Grace hissed and walked away, humming a love song. A few minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Maria opened it to see a tall man in jeans and a tight shirt. He looked her up and down. "Good evening," Maria greeted softly. "Yeah," he replied. "Are you Grace's sister?" Maria didn't respond. She simply stepped aside and let him in. She placed the hot food on the small wooden table and turned to leave, but he stopped her with his eyes. "Wait," he said. "You're beautiful." Maria blinked, surprised. "I'm serious," he continued, leaning on the chair. "More beautiful than Grace. Has anyone told you that?" Maria looked away, uncomfortable. "Thank you, sir." "Don't thank me. I'm just being honest. If I saw you first, I wouldn't have bothered with Grace. She's forcing herself on me. You're special. Be my girlfriend. Come with me to the city. I've got money. I can change your life." Maria turned slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes sharp. "You have money?" she asked. "Plenty," he said proudly. "Just say yes. You'll never suffer again." Maria folded her arms. "Really? Then why do you look like this?" she asked coldly. "If you're so rich, why does your hair look like it was combed with a fork? And that shirt? Is this how rich people dress? Your face is sweating like you ran here from Lagos." The man blinked, unsure of what to say. "I mean," Maria continued, "use that dirty money to fix yourself first before trying to fix anyone else. You're not even handsome. You look like someone who lost a fight with sleep and woke up confused. And your shoes, they're shouting louder than you." His face turned red with embarrassment. "I was just trying to help a poor village girl like you," he snapped. "Help?" Maria laughed softly. "You think betraying your girlfriend and waving money around is help? You must think I'm stupid." He stood, his hands shaking. "You'll regret this." "No," Maria said calmly. "I already regret opening the door for you." She walked off, fuming. Meanwhile, Grace's phone rang as she left the shop. Seeing her boyfriend's name, she smiled. "Hello, baby," she said sweetly. But his tone was different. Cold. "Grace, your sister is a snake." Grace frowned. "What?" "She tried to seduce me," he lied. "Told me you're not my type. She begged me to take her to the city instead. Even touched me. I had to leave before I lost my temper." "What?" "Maria!" Grace screamed, causing heads to turn. "Are you sure?" "Of course I'm sure," he said. She wouldn't stop begging. Grace's face burned with anger. "She will hear from me." She hung up and stormed out of the shop, pushing people aside. As soon as she reached home, she dropped the drinks and yelled, "Papa! Papa! Come and hear what that useless girl did." Mr. Amos came out. "What is it again?" "Your daughter Maria tried to steal my boyfriend." Grace screamed. "She told him I'm not good enough and begged him to take her to the city." "That dirty village rat." Mr. Amos' face darkened. "She did what?" Just then, Maria stepped out of the kitchen. "Papa, I didn't." A slap silenced her. "Shut up, you shameless child. Trying to disgrace this house by seducing your sister's man? How useless can you be?" Maria clutched her chest. "Papa, I swear I didn't." He. Another slap. "Liar. You think I'll believe a cheap girl like you over a man? You must be cursed. Just like your mother." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "I swear on Mama's grave. Don't mention that woman in this house," he roared. "She was nothing and so are you." Maria stood frozen, heartbroken. She looked at Grace, hoping for help, but Grace only smirked. "You will not eat in this house for 2 days," Mr. Amos declared. "And if I ever see you talking to any man again, I will strip you naked and throw you out." Maria turned and walked back into the kitchen. Silent tears ran down her face. She sat in the corner, hugging her knees, shaking with sadness and pain. How could he believe such lies? How could he speak such cruel words? She had done nothing wrong. All she ever wanted was to be loved. Her stomach rumbled, but she ignored it. The hunger didn't hurt as much as the hatred did. She thought of her mother again. If only she were alive, if only someone in this world truly cared. The next morning, Maria rose early. No food in her stomach. No strength in her steps. Just a broken heart and a tired soul. Quietly, she left the house and walked slowly to the old spot where Papa Ocone always sat when she arrived. Papa Ocone was already sitting on the same stone, gently whistling and holding his walking stick. As soon as he saw her, he stood up and opened his arms. "My daughter, come here. You look troubled again." Maria dropped her bag and sat beside him. Her eyes were red, her lips dry. "Papa," she said quietly, "I'm tired." "Tired?" he asked, concern etching his face. "Yes," she nodded. "I feel like giving up. My stepfather beat me again last night for something I didn't do. He accused me of seducing Grace's boyfriend. It's a lie. I'm tired of everything. I feel like running away." Papa Ocone's expression hardened, his eyes sharp with anger. He clapped his hands once. "That man," he said bitterly, "God will send his angels to flog him without mercy." Maria blinked, surprised. She wiped her tears slowly. "They will flog him until he cries like a baby," Papa Ocone continued. "He will roll on the floor begging for help, but no one will hear him. Even his own shadow will run away." Maria covered her mouth and laughed despite her sadness. "Papa, you're so funny." He smiled gently. "I may be old, but I don't joke when it comes to wicked people. You're too kind, my daughter. One day, they will regret every single thing they did to you. Just wait and see." He looked around cautiously, then leaned closer. "There's something I want to tell you." "What is it, Papa?" she asked curiously. "A good Samaritan helped me," he said, eyes bright. Someone saw me here and offered me a job as a security guard in the city. Not only that, they gave me a small place to live." Maria's eyes widened with joy. "Really, Papa? That's wonderful." "Yes," he said. "I'm leaving tomorrow morning." Her smile slowly faded. "So, you're leaving me too?" "No, no," he said, patting her hand. "You're not alone. Listen, I want you to come with me." Maria's face fell, and she shook her head sadly. "Papa, I can't. If I leave now, they'll say I ran off with a man. I'll never be allowed to return again." Papa Oko nodded slowly in understanding. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small folded piece of paper. "This is the address of where I'll be staying. Keep it safe. Don't let anyone see it. If anything happens or if you change your mind, just come. My house is your house." Maria took the paper with trembling hands. "Thank you, Papa. I'll miss you so much. You're the only real family I have now. How will I cope without you?" He gently wiped her tears. "Don't cry, my child. You're strong. And remember, God is watching. You won't suffer forever." She nodded, then stood up. "Let me go and buy you some food before I leave." "Thank you, my daughter," he said, smiling. As soon as Maria left, Papa Okon brought out a small phone from his pocket and dialed a number. When the person answered, he said just one sentence. "Do it. Make him regret everything." Then he ended the call and tucked the phone away. Moments later, Maria returned with hot rice and stew in a takeaway pack. "Here, Papa," she said, handing it to him. "Eat before it gets cold." "Thank you," he said, opening the pack and taking the first bite. You cook like an angel." Maria chuckled. "It's from a food vendor." He laughed. "Even better. My daughter, you'll marry a very handsome and wealthy man. Believe me." She blushed. "Amen, Papa." "Not just any man," he said, still eating happily. "A man who will treat you like a queen. You'll wear beautiful clothes, live in a fine house, and walk with the pride of royalty." Maria laughed again. "Papa, you're sweet-talking me." "No," he said. "I'm only telling you what I see. Just watch." Back at home, Mr. Amos was on his way to the farm, grumbling and whistling. He held his cutlass, muttering about how Maria was ruining his life. As he passed the large palm tree near the village shrine, something strange happened. A masquerade jumped out and lashed him hard. Before he could react, another appeared from the bush, and a third jumped down from the tree. Without a word, they flogged him from every direction. "Please! Who are you? What did I do?" he screamed. They didn't respond. They just kept flogging him mercilessly. He tried to escape, but they chased him. He fell into the mud, rolled on the ground, crawling like a goat. When they finally vanished into the bush, he got up, covered in shame and dirt. Grabbing his cutlass, he limped back to the village, crying like a baby. On his way, he saw his friend Okori resting under a mango tree. "Amos, what happened?" Okori asked, shocked. "Masquerades," Amos panted. "3 of them. They beat me out of nowhere." But Okori burst out laughing. "Serves you right. You're too wicked. Maybe it's that poor girl's mother's ghost flogging you." "Ghost?" Amos gasped. "Yes," Okori shouted. "Leave that girl alone or next time, they'll use iron rods, not canes." "Get out of my sight," Amos yelled and stumbled home. When he reached the compound, he collapsed by the door, sobbing. Mama Maria, you will know no peace. Tell your ghost friends to leave me alone. 2 days later, the house was quiet. Maria had finished sweeping the compound. Her body felt weak from hunger, but she had grown used to it. As she stepped inside to rest, Mr. Amos followed and locked the door. Maria turned slowly. The look in his eyes made her stomach twist. "What is it, Papa?" she asked, voice trembling. He leaned on the wall, grinning, but it wasn't a good grin. "So your dead mother sent those masquerades to flog me, eh?" he sneered. "She warned me not to beat you again." "Fine. I won't. But I'll use you another way." Maria stepped back. "I'll get you pregnant," he said cruelly. "Then I'll throw you out. You'll become a single mother with no future. Nobody will want you. That's the punishment you deserve." Maria froze. "What did you just say?" she asked, her voice rising. He moved closer, licking his lips. "Don't scream. No one will help you. You're useless. Let me destroy you for good." As he reached for her, something shifted deep inside her. A fire she didn't know she had. Without thinking, Maria clenched her fist and punched him square in the face. Mr. Amos screamed and fell to the ground. "She hit me. Ah! Help! This girl wants to kill me." Maria didn't wait. She rushed into the small room, grabbed her bag and the paper with Papa Ocon's address, and ran out of the house. She didn't look back. She ran through the village, past the market, straight to the motor park. She had never been to the city, didn't know what to expect, but she had the address, and more importantly, she had her freedom. She climbed into a bus headed to the city. As the engine started and the vehicle moved, tears rolled down her cheeks, not tears of pain, but of strength. "I'm free," she whispered. She didn't know where life would take her next, but she knew one thing. She would never go back to that house again. Back home, Mr. Amos was on the ground, holding his face and wailing. "She hit me. She almost killed me." Grace ran into the house. "What happened?" she asked. "That foolish girl Maria," he shouted. "She brought jobless men. They beat me up. Look at my face." Grace looked around. "Where are the men?" "They ran after she escaped," he lied quickly. "They beat me and left me. That girl is possessed. She wants to destroy me." Grace's eyes flared with anger. "We must report her. Let's go to the king or the police." Mr. Amos sat up, wiping fake tears. "No," he said. "It's not worth it. Reporting her won't solve anything." Grace frowned. "So what now?" He glanced around, eyes full of hatred. "If that girl ever steps into this house again, I will end her. I swear on what's left of my life." Grace gasped. "I don't care," he shouted. "She brought shame to me. If she returns, that will be her end." Grace said nothing. She just stared at her father, now truly afraid of the man he had become. Meanwhile, in the city, the bus dropped Maria at a small park. Everything was new. The tall buildings, the noise, the smell of roasted corn, the rushing people. She was afraid but determined. She brought out the paper and asked someone for directions. After some time, she reached a neat, modest compound. She knocked. Papa Ocone opened the door. His face lit up with joy. "My daughter!" he cried, pulling her into a warm embrace. "You came." Maria burst into tears. "I had to, Papa." He tried to. She broke down sobbing. He held her tightly, like a true father. No more, he said. You're safe now. No one will ever hurt you again. He led her inside. The room was simple, but clean. This is your home now. Maria looked around and smiled through her tears. Thank you, Papa. Thank you for saving me. He smiled. Maria sat alone for a moment. The ceiling fan turned slowly. A soft breeze drifted in. She had just finished folding her clothes into the drawer Papa Ocone gave her. Suddenly, the door swung open. A tall, handsome young man stood there. Clean haircut, expensive scent, stylish shirt, sharp eyes. Maria froze. He stepped inside, frowning. What are you doing here? He asked coldly. Maria stood up politely. Good afternoon, sir, she said softly. My father is not around. He stepped out. I'm his daughter, Maria said. The man looked at her, confused. Your father? He repeated. Who is your father? Papa Ocone, she replied. The man laughed. But it wasn't a laugh of amusement. It was sharp, surprised, and annoyed. You mean the gateman? Maria nodded slowly. The man folded his arms. So, the poor gateman I employed now has a total stranger living in my house without my permission? Wow! Maria's heart skipped. Sir, I'm not a stranger, she said, trying to explain. I just told you, I'm his daughter. Shut up, he snapped. How dare you speak when I'm talking? Do I look like your mate? Maria clenched her lips. She didn't like how he spoke, but she remained silent. This is my house, he continued. Your so-called father has no right to bring anyone here. When he returns, tell him I want to see him immediately. He has questions to answer. Why he left his duty post and turned my house into a village guest lodge. He turned toward the door, paused, and without looking back added, Don't touch anything in this house. I'm watching everything. Then he slammed the door shut. Maria stood frozen, shaking. Slowly, she sat back on the bed, her heart racing, her hands cold. What kind of man is this? She whispered. She glanced at the door, then around the room. He's rude, she muttered. Very rude, but also very handsome. She shook her head quickly. This is exactly my type. Oh, but that attitude? Terrible. Is this how all rich men act in the city? So arrogant. So bitter. Maybe his girlfriend broke up with him or someone stole his phone. But why pour all the anger on me? She lay back, staring at the ceiling. How can someone look so good, smell so rich, dress so fine, and still have a heart like pepper? She closed her eyes. Whatever. Let my father return first. He will explain everything. I'm not going anywhere. She sighed deeply. If this is what city life is like, then it's already full of drama. But I didn't come here to fight. I came to find peace. I just hope this man won't be my next problem. Just before sunset, Papa Ocone returned. He looked tired but smiled as he saw Maria waiting near the small gate. Papa! She ran to him. My daughter! He replied warmly. Are you all right? She took a deep breath. No, Papa. Something happened while you were gone. She quickly told him about the rude man, how he walked in, shouted at her, and accused her of being a stranger. Papa Ocone frowned. That's strange, he said. Let me go and talk to my boss. Frederick. Maybe there's some misunderstanding. He hurried off while Maria stayed behind, waiting anxiously in the small room. Meanwhile, in the main house, Frederick was sipping a cold bottle of water when Papa Ocone entered. "Good evening, sir," he greeted respectfully. "I came to speak with you about my daughter." Frederick dropped the bottle hard on the table. "Your daughter? So now you're bringing strangers into my house and calling them your daughter? Who knows what else you've been hiding? Maybe you've even been stealing from me." Papa Ocone was shocked. "Stealing? Sir, I've never stolen anything in my life. I came peacefully to talk about my daughter." Frederick stood, furious. "I'll have you arrested. You're a thief and a liar." Just then, Maria burst in. "You must be mad to think I'll be scared of you," she shouted. Frederick froze, surprised. "How dare you insult my father and lie against him?" she continued, standing tall. "Call the police. You think you're the only powerful person in this city? Let me tell you, I know people, wealthy people. If you try anything, if you touch my father, I will deal with you in a way you've never seen before." "Try me." Frederick blinked, then suddenly burst out laughing. Maria stopped, confused. "What's funny?" Then Papa Ocone also started laughing. Maria looked from one to the other, baffled. "Papa, why are you laughing with this wicked man?" Papa Ocone wiped his eyes. "My daughter, meet Frederick, my son." Maria's eyes widened. "You're what?" "Papa, this is not the time to joke." "I'm not joking," he said. "Frederick is my son. My blood. The owner of this house, the man you just shouted at, is my only child." Maria was stunned. Frederick stepped forward, smiling gently. "I've heard so much about you, Maria." She turned to Papa Ocone. "What's going on?" He sat down, speaking softly. Months ago, Frederick was supposed to marry a city girl. Very beautiful. But one day, she left him. No explanation. Just heartbreak. Frederick nodded. "I almost lost myself. I was broken. I stopped trusting women. I even thought of ending it all." Maria gasped. "I begged him," Papa Ocone added. "Told him there were still good girls out there. But he didn't believe me. So, I made a decision. I left the main house, disguised myself as a gateman, and began searching for a good woman." Maria was speechless. "That's when I found you," Papa Ocone continued. "You gave up your school fees for a hungry stranger. You took insults and beatings and stayed kind. You are the best woman for my son. You are gold. I love you, my daughter." Tears filled Maria's eyes. Frederick stepped closer and knelt. Her eyes widened. "Frederick, what are you doing?" He brought out a ring box. "Maria, I love you. From the moment I saw you, my heart shifted. But it was more than that." He smiled. "You remember how you'd sit and talk with Papa, laugh with him, cry with him? Sometimes I was on the phone, listening. I heard you talk about your mother, your dreams, your kindness. I didn't know you, but I already felt like I did." Maria gasped. "You were listening?" "Yes," he nodded. "And when I saw you in person, I knew. You are the one. You're not just beautiful. You have a heart of gold. Marry me, Maria. Let me love you. Let me protect you." Her lips trembled. I don't even know what to say." Frederick looked into her eyes. "Say yes." She smiled through her tears. "I love you too," she whispered. "From the moment you entered the room, I felt it. Something magical." He stood up and embraced her tightly. "You are so damn beautiful," he whispered. An angel. Maria rested her head on his chest. And you are my answered prayer. Papa Ocone clapped joyfully. Yes. Love is sweet. Somebody bring wine, we must celebrate. They all laughed, and for the first time, Maria felt truly safe, loved, and at home. 2 weeks later, the whole city buzzed with news: Maria and Frederick's wedding. It was like a royal event. The hall sparkled with white and gold, filled with flowers and soft love songs. Guests arrived in glamorous outfits. Paparazzi took endless photos. It was magical. Maria looked breathtaking in her white gown. As she walked down the aisle holding Papa Ocone's arm, the room rose in admiration. Frederick stood waiting in a sharp black suit, smiling like a man who had found heaven's key. As Maria reached him, he whispered, "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "And you're my miracle," she replied. They exchanged vows and rings, promising eternal love. The crowd cheered. Papa Ocone shed tears of joy. Frederick lifted Maria and kissed her, and the hall erupted with applause. Maria had found love, family, and peace. But far away in the village, Mr. Amos sat outside on a wooden bench, staring at the dusty ground with fire in his eyes. He had just heard the news. "That useless girl is now married to a rich man in the city?" he shouted, rising in anger. "No. She must follow her dead mother to the grave." Nearby, Grace, now visibly pregnant, chewed roasted corn. "Papa," she said, "I know I didn't like Maria, but this is too much." "Wishing her dead." "Shut up, you fool," he barked. "Look at you, pregnant without a husband. When will your own wedding come?" Grace's face fell. "You were supposed to marry that fine boy from the next village," he continued. "But no, you were too busy playing big girl, chasing sugar daddies. Now look, your stomach is like yam, and no father for the child." Grace looked away, ashamed. "She stole your glory," he shouted. "That marriage was meant to be yours. She ruined everything." He grabbed his cap. "Where are you going, Papa?" Grace asked, worried. "To the native doctor's shrine," he said darkly. "She will suffer. Her husband will hate her. She will crawl back here like a dog and beg me." "Papa, no," Grace pleaded, fear in her voice. "It's not that serious. You shut up, foolish daughter of a foolish mother. Sit there and eat your corn." With that, he stormed off toward the forest, heading to the feared shrine. Villagers peered from windows, whispering. "That's Maria's stepfather," one said. "He's going to the shrine," another added. "He can't stand that poor girl becoming a billionaire's wife." But no one stopped him. Evil often destroys itself. As he walked deeper into the forest, the sky darkened. Wind howled. Leaves whirled in warning. Then boom! Thunder cracked, and lightning struck a tree. He fell screaming. Another bolt hit. This time, directly. Mr. Amos was gone. Back in the village, Grace was eating mango when a young boy came running. "Grace! Grace!" "What?" she asked. "Your father is dead. Thunder finished him near the shrine." The mango fell from her hand. "What?" She ran inside and dropped to the floor crying. "Papa, why?" "Your wickedness was too much. Why did you hate her so much?" "See where it ended." Villagers gathered, shaking their heads. "Evil never wins," an old woman said. Meanwhile in the city, Maria was in the kitchen, cooking jollof rice, when Papa Ocone walked in, smiling. "My daughter," he called. "Papa, have you heard?" she asked. "Yes, so," he replied, removing his slippers. "Your stepfather is gone." Thunder gave him a hot slap. Maria laughed. "Papa, you're too funny." "No joko," he grinned. "That's what happens when you fight God's child." Then he looked at her seriously. "Let me confess something." Maria raised her brows. "Papa, what is it again?" "I was the one who sent a man to warn your stepfather that day. And those masquerades that flogged him, I arranged them too." Maria burst into laughter. "Papa, you're something else." Then she became quiet. "Papa, I have something to tell you." He looked at her. "What is it?" She smiled, placing a hand on her belly. "I'm pregnant." His eyes widened. "Are you serious?" She nodded. "Yes, Papa. I told Frederick yesterday." Papa Okone jumped up dancing. "I'm going to be a grandfather." "Thank you, Jesus." Maria clapped, laughing. "I'll sing lullabies every night," he said joyfully. 9 months later, Maria gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. She had her mother's gentle eyes and Frederick's charming smile. Everyone rejoiced. Frederick kissed Maria's forehead. "Thank you, my queen. You gave me the best gift." Papa Okone held the baby and smiled. "My grandbaby, you're already more beautiful than the stars." They named her Joy, because that's exactly what she brought. From that day on, there was no more pain, only love, laughter, and the sweet peace of family. Dear viewers, what did you learn from this touching story? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, share with friends, and subscribe for more beautiful stories. Stay blessed.